What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video. Today, we're going to be discussing the Patriots opening up the checkbook to bring in defensive tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles, Milton Willams here. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the contract as well as what Milton Willams is going to be bringing to the Patriots defense. So let's get right into this one. So the New England Patriots bring in their most highly sought-after free agent target in this offseason class, that being defensive tackle Milton Willams from the Philadelphia Eagles, on a little bit of an overpay for a defensive tackle. But guess what? When you've been losing like the Patriots have been these past couple seasons, you have to overpay to get these free agents to come here to New England. But they signed him on a 4-year, $104 million contract. And also, I believe 63 of that 104 is in guaranteed money. But I think this is actually the highest annual per year value contract that the New England Patriots have ever given out, more than Tom Brady, with being $26 million compared to his $25 million. So Mike Vrabel told the Crafts, he said, hey, I am not going to be here if you ain't spending money. So the Crafts finally open up the checkbook, dust off the wallets, and this is why they're able to bring in some of these guys that, frankly, they would not have been able to if they didn't overpay for them. And Milton Willams is going to be the headline of this offseason for the New England Patriots, most likely barring anything crazy from happening. And he is a day one free agent here coming to Foxborough. Very, very good. Of course, he's going to be in an area that the Patriots really kind of desperately need with addressing their lack of a pass rush, especially if Christian Barmore is not out there. Maybe get a little bit more interior pressure from a guy like Milton Willams, and your pass rush numbers are going to be able to skyrocket throughout this season. And if Christian Barmore is healthy, these two players in particular, Milton Willams and C. Barr, are going to be deadly up the middle, and they're going to cause a lot of quarterbacks to have to scramble out of that pocket because they're going to be getting some interior pressure. And God forbid, hopefully Christian Barmore is going to be able to recover healthily from these blood clot scenarios, but you have a little bit of insurance here with Milton Willams being that kind of second defensive tackle here for you. And that's no slouch to Milton Willams. Christian Barmore is just that good. And Milton Willams hopefully is going to be able to carry this defensive line in terms of a pressure rate up the middle by himself. But I would say that that's probably the biggest red flag here with Milton Willams. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a red flag. It's just going to be a big-time question mark of whether all the production that he had in Philadelphia was a product on the defensive line that he was playing with. Guys like Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Joshua Sweat. I believe Aubrey Huff as well was on that defensive line. And that Vic Fangio defense of just getting pressure with Ford that they did in the Super Bowl, was that a product of the guys around Milton Willams, or was all that production that he had generally on him with all the interior pressure that he was able to get? So I think that we're going to be able to tell rather early whether or not it was a product of the environment Milton Willams was around, but I'm sure the Patriots are fully confident with the amount of money that they gave up for Milton Willams that all that success he had in Philadelphia is going to be able to translate here to New England. So this is a very good signing here for the Patriots. You really get him in his quote-unquote prime. He's only 26 years old, and he's going to plug some pass rush issues up the middle that you might have. And if Christian Barmore is healthy, you really have shored up the middle of that front four, and that's going to allow guys like Harold Landry to connect with those speed rushes on the outside in one-on-one scenarios. It's going to allow guys like Keon White to be one-on-one, and hopefully he's going to see more production based off those one-on-one mismatches, where, as opposed to last season, he was really the only true pass rusher that the Patriots had on that roster. So hopefully his production is going to uptick just due to the talent around, and hopefully they're going to be able to create some more mismatches for Keon White off the edge. So plugging up the middle, hopefully you're going to see some better run defense than last season. I'm sure if Christian Barmore and Milton Willams are both on the field, that area is going to show up more so compared to last year. But definitely in the pass rush scenario, if those two guys are on the field, that's two guys who can generate a ton of pressure up the middle. And you can move them around too. It's not even they're just strictly defensive tackles. You can move Milton Willams and C-Bar both to the edges, and they could generate pressure from that area. So you're getting multi-dimensional tackles here, as well as guys who can play on the edge as well. So it's a very encouraging sign here for the Patriots, and I can't wait to see how Terrell Williams, someone who's been very good at scripting up pressure and getting the best out of some of these defensive linemen in the league, is going to be able to use Milton Willams and hopefully pairing him up with Christian Barmore along with Harold Landry and Keon White. That's a really good front four, and that's something that the Patriots are going to have to connect with this season. because in Vrabel's system, you have to get pressure with 4. He does not like to send a lot of blitzing. And in one of his offseason quotes is, I might not blitz a lot, but I'm going to blitz when it's meaningful. I'm going to send that 5th guy if that 5th guy can have an impact on that blitz. He doesn't just blitz for show. He's going to blitz if it's effective. And when you have a front 4 like this and they can live up to their potential, this defensive line is going to absolutely help carry this Patriots defense to better numbers than they had last season. So taking a look at some of Milton Willams' grades here, PFF was extremely high on Milton Willams last season. Of course, they had him ranked as the number 15th interior defensive lineman overall in the entire NFL last league, and they actually had him ranked as the number 11th pass rusher. And that gets even more impressive when he was actually the 3rd highest rated defensive lineman in that group, outside of safeties who only blitzed so much time. So the numbers are a little bit skewed here, but being number 11, he was behind only guys like Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett. And there's Milton Willams in terms of pass rush rating and being ranked 3rd overall out of defensive linemen there. So this is a guy who gets to the quarterback. And you can see it through his grades here. His 2024 defensive grade, he had an overall grade of 76.5, a run defense grade of 41. You'd like to see that tick up a little bit. This was one of his poorer seasons in terms of run defense, but I'll get into why those numbers might be a little bit skewed here. He had a tackling grade of 39.8. You'd like to see that go up a little bit, but he had an elite pass rush grade of 91.7. And that's even more impressive considering the fact that he's doing this as an interior defensive lineman. And there are times where he's getting double teamed by guards and centers, and he's still able to have this production. So that is very impressive. But for people who are a little skepticism of his run defense, I will say the numbers are a bit skewed here. Just because he's more so a later down lineman. He's playing mostly 2nd and 3rd downs here for the Eagles. And you can really see that through his run defense snaps compared to his pass rush snaps, which was 234 rush defense snaps compared to 418 pass rush snaps. So most of the time he was on the field, he was prepared for that pass rush scenario. And there might have been some times where he actually got fooled in the run just because you would think that he'd be in more so passing scenarios. And maybe the offense was able to fool that defense just a little bit there. But taking a look at his actual stats for this past season, he had 16 tackles on the year and had a missed tackle percentage of around 18. You'd like to see that get a little bit lower. He had 54 pressures, 39 hurries, 7 QB hits, 8 sacks, 3 batted balls, and forced 2 fumbles last season. And taking a look where he was kind of aligned along the defensive line, he took all his snaps from the defensive line spot. He had 503 defensive tackle snaps compared to 114 defensive end snaps and had 6 nose tackle snaps. So certainly the Eagles like to use him on the interior of that defensive line that they had last season. But compared to his 2023 campaign, it kind of shows how versatile it is because the Eagles actually used him a lot in the defensive end spot in his 2023 campaign, where he had 241 defensive end snaps compared to 253 defensive tackle snaps. So I think that they had confidence in him playing on both the end spots as well as the tackle positions, but they just more so liked him better at the tackle spot, especially with the talent around him. I'm sure that they could really have used him either way if one side was favoring another. But taking a look into his 2023 campaign, he had an overall defensive grade of 70.4, a run defense grade of 69.8, a tackling grade of 41.7, pass rush grade of 62, and a coverage grade of 66.8. Like I said before, he was much more of a pass rush specialist for the Eagles here. However, his 2023 campaign is a little bit more balanced compared to his 2024 campaign, where he took 200 run defense snaps compared to 322 pass rush snaps. And last season, 2023 campaign, he came up with 31 tackles for around a missed tackle rate of 11.5%, 25 pressures, 14 hurries, 9 QB hits, only 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. But he's been in the league for 4 years, and take a look at his career totals. He has 99 career tackles and has 16 career sacks. So he's very productive from the middle of that defensive line there. And it's only going to help out other players around him. And especially now that he's gotten the bag, he has these expectations here in New England. He's playing under a defensive-minded head coach, that being Mike Vrabel, and especially given the fact that Terrell Williams is his defensive coordinator, and Terrell Williams especially seems to be bringing out the best of a lot of these linemen that he's coached throughout the league. Examples being Jeffrey Simmons, Aiden Hutchinson. Of course, those guys are tremendously talented in their own right, and even guys like Harold Landry. But hopefully he can apply that to Milton Willams, and we could see the same elite production that he produced in Philadelphia, and hopefully correlate that with even more playing time here, so Milton Willams become an even more productive player here for your Patriots. But it's going to be an exciting season here from the Patriots from a defensive perspective. They made a ton of moves on the defensive side of the ball here, and Milton Willams has to be the headline for your New England Patriots. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this video here. I got some more content coming out, breaking down some of the other signings the Patriots made on day one of free agency. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hopefully I'll be able to see you all in the next one.